Today, how men beat addiction, nervous system practices that build strength, resilience, and faith. Welcome to Sacred Grit, a podcast equipping men to conquer addiction and overcome inner struggles through physical, mental, and spiritual disciplines so you can become a man of honor and integrity. I'm Jason Lyle. Now let's get to work. Today you'll learn addiction lives on lies, practices rewire your body, and healing starts in the nervous system. All right, my dude. On Sacred Sunday, we talked about being born again. Now, I unpacked in that episode quite a bit about my childhood experience, right? And what that looked like in my salvation experience. And what I was trying to nail down there was that there was words said that I think had meaning behind them. But when it came time to put that into application, it was a little more difficult. So by the time I got to my teenage years, and, you know, those things started needing some teeth on it, I just could not find a grip. So, and I carried that on into the rest of my life. And so we talked about being born again, not as a one-time theological transaction, but as stepping into each moment like it's brand new, seeing it with fresh eyes, because that's how Jesus taught it. And that's what nervous system work makes possible. When I first got into the cold water, started practicing yoga, meditation, doing breath work, something happened that I had never experienced before. I gained access to logic, right? For years, my thoughts just ran wild. I mean, frustration, anger, shame, but suddenly I could stop and catch them. I could observe them and then choose something different. Even small stuff, man, like traffic stopped bothering me. Running late stopped bothering me. It didn't send me into this spinning anger fit. And I had access to patience. It was really strange the way that I would feel. And that's when it dawned on me that this is what Jesus meant by being born again, seeing things for what they really are, not my old patterns tell me they are. And brother, listen, it is the key to recovery as well. And here's the thing, the engine of addiction is justification. Here's what it sounds like, right? I'll quit after this one, right? This is the last one. Or I deserve this, or maybe no one will know. And here's the thing, in the moment, those things don't feel like lies. I mean, they feel like you're telling yourself the truth, right? And that's why we act on them. Recovery circles say play the tape all the way to the end, right? But when your nervous system is hijacked by cheap dopamine, it feels impossible. Now, playing the tape all the way to the end means if I make this decision, can I see what the outcomes are going to be, right? Can I pay attention closely enough to see that? But as I said, you just about can't do that when your nervous system is so hijacked. So that's where nervous system practices give you the edge. They train you to pause and choose before the justification becomes action. So here's the breakdown, right? Yoga. Yoga teaches you to feel your body because that's where the impulses begin. You learn to catch the signal in your chest, your breath, your muscles before it becomes a thought, right? You feel the origin of that emotion in your body. Now, the breath work connects your rational brain to the automatic functions. Breathing is the one system that's both automatic and under your control. Control the breath, control the action. And I use the Wim Hof method. You can look that up online and, practice that for yourself. Meditation. It trains you to observe your thoughts and let them go. If you can learn to release a thought, you can learn to release a temptation, right? And then the cold water. And the cold water for me is the king of the nervous system work. Every alarm in your body goes off, but you stay with it. You breathe, you bring calm and presence, and you learn that you can face anything. These things work together, right? They're like a harmony. Because the yoga lets me feel my body. I know a lot of times I'll be riding down the road, and I'll just feel my body. I'll feel pain in a knee or something. I'll adjust. I can start to recognize what's going in my body. The breath work, I hack into this autonomic nervous system and I control the breath, even in places where I think I couldn't. In meditation, I catch my thoughts, right? And then cold water, those impulses, like I can feel anger. I can feel all manner of things coming up. And, I can catch them and it starts giving me control over my impulses, right? Now, listen, here's the thing you need to know about this, my dude. It is not a magic pill. Just because you practice doesn't mean you're instantly healed, right? I mean, I put in hours of work and still have to. I practice every single day, but here's the difference with a regulated nervous system. The work actually sticks. That internal work actually sticks. Knowledge doesn't just live in your head. It downloads into your body. And that's where healing comes from. And that's when new decisions are possible, right? When I can take all of this information I have, maybe it's step work, maybe it's therapy, maybe it's working with a sponsor, maybe it's working with a coach, but all of that information can download into my body. Now, imagine this with me, man. If men everywhere learn to feel their bodies, regulate their nervous system, and live from clarity instead of compulsion, my man, we would see men of honor and integrity, sober men, fully alive and strong enough to face life head on. That's men of sacred grit, my dude. So today you learned addiction lives on lies, but practices rewire your body, and healing starts in the nervous system. My man, thank you for listening. I appreciate it, dude. I hope that this gives you some peace and solitude. And I know they're short and quick little blips and blurps of, information, but my aim is to give you tools in your toolbox. Sunday to give you something to think of, and Wednesday something to do. And I appreciate you listening. Down in the show notes, you'll see you could book a call. It's a free call with me to consult and see if we're a fit. There's also the website. My email is down there. All right. I'd love to hear from you. Our final sponsor is Mr. David Dodd. Now, David at Edward Jones McDonough is one of the best dudes you'll ever get to meet, man. And he is really good at his job. And David can work with you online, so it doesn't matter if you live in California or if you live in Georgia. He can work with you to help you with all of your financial goals. You can find David by Googling Edward Jones McDonough David Dodd, and he will pop up. Click on that, get you some information, and get you headed in that direction, and you will be connected to one of the best in the business. All right, my dude. Have a great week. I'll see you on Sacred Sunday.